I haven't seen my underpants in weeks. No, I haven't seen my underpants in weeks. Oh, I haven't seen my underpants. I haven't seen my underpants. I haven't seen my underpants in weeks. Yahoo!
And hello everyone, it's Tom, it's FANzine Live. We are trying something new today, and that is going with a new video system. I am using an entirely new recording system. I've got a webcam that I'm looking into right now. I've got right up there, I've got a new fixed camera that is giving us our overhead look. I actually have been using my Google Pixel phone before that, but now we're trying to switch and see if we can do something a little bit different this time. Thought is that I can actually look into the camera and talk to you at the same time. You can also perhaps see a reaction or two. The purpose of today's video, however, is to look at The Pieman, Volume 2, Number 4 by Chuckles Productions. That is Chuck Bunker, and Pseudo Comics, which is Jeffrey Wood. Jeffrey Wood, of course, being out of Seattle, the creator of the legendary Snow Bunny character from the 1980s and onward into today. Chuck, however, has a slightly different story, and that's something I thought I would get into a little bit before we get going with this zine. Chuck is doing one of his characters, the Pieman. The Pieman has been around, much like Snow Bunny, since the 1980s. Here is a mini comic from June 86, I believe. Yes, June 86. Pieman number 1. This is a mini comic that he did, and you can see his character here, slightly different than you see here, but a lot of similarities. Chuck was one of the bigger small press artists back in the day, and he loved to do his mini comics and kind of has a certain, almost a frantic type of cartoony style. A lot of fun exaggerated faces, sound effects, a lot of action shots. A big fan of the Warner Brothers guys, the Chuck Jones and those folks. So yeah, that's his work. Chuck actually went kind of big for small press purposes, and he was a friend of Tim Corrigan, and Tim suggested that he do a full-size direct market C&T Graphics, same company that did Small Press Comics Explosion, do a version of one of his other characters, Geriatric Man. I show you that one because truthfully, the mini comic it's a tough read on a screen, but you can really get a sense of Chuck's style when you look at a book like this. Well, really, it's a magazine. And Chuck loved to tell his stories, kind of fun, exaggerated characters. He had a really consistent style, and you can see how his style worked out. Did a little bit of work with Zipatone, but not a ton. Mostly just straight outline work. Pretty much an adherent to the 9-panel page when he could with the bigger pages. Let's see, did he use 9-panel? No, he went to 6 for the mini comic size. But yeah, this is one of his pieces that he did for Tim Corrigan. And that would be 1987. The C&T graphic stuff didn't sell like Tim was hoping, like Chuck was hoping. Basically, the black and white boom turned into a bust. Not too many creators made it out safely. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guys did, and honestly, not much more than that. Cerebus did. A lot of good creators were lost in the mix. Which brings me to Strange Times, a Phoenix Productions piece. Chuck had been out of the game for quite some time, but got back into it in Strange Times 4. And he did a really nice, gentle piece kind of about what he's been up to in here. He talks about how Geriatric Man got canceled after only one issue. Many of the new indies were canceled. Small Press Explosion canceled. The Indie Glut. So basically, Corrigan's telling Chuck this, and Chuck is just floored by what's happened. And he basically gave it all up. He passed out on comics altogether, skipped out on it, and decided to go in another route. But he has gotten back into it when he went into his rehab center, back as a hobby and not as the professional that he wanted to be. Glad to have you back, Chuck. Let's take a look at your latest, the Pieman. Art style is largely the same. This is an Alan Freeman airbrush touch-up over, it looks like Corrigan, it looks like Bunker pencils, Corrigan inks, Alan Freeman airbrushing. But you can see the style is largely the same. Chuck really hasn't lost much off his style. You can see a lot of the same elements to it. I'd say the difference is that it's a little bit looser here. He's a little bit tighter on this stuff, but he also hasn't been doing it for, Lord, 30, 40 years. Pretty impressive. This is a nice touch by Jeff. Jeff did the layout on this. He did the lettering on this. And he, I believe, did the printing on this. This book that I have, this zine that I have, is in full magazine size, 8.5 by 11. I gather that there is a half-page digest size version of this, and that's what you could get if you wanted to get it for free from Chuck. Details in the show notes. But yeah, there's Chuck right there. There's Jeff, who's doing his thing as well. Apparently looks like he was at a con when he did that one. Jeff's very busy still doing his own stuff as well. We've got the Muffin Man character taking on the Pie Man character. And Chuck's pretty simple in his work. He's probably lost a touch of control, especially over his lettering. Going back and looking, he did his own lettering on this stuff. It's a lot more legible on this. It gets a little bit rough here. And so to have the digital lettering from Jeff really helps out a great deal. It doesn't detract at all. It uses pretty standard lettering style. Chuck also drops a little bit off the shading, but his character work is pretty good and his panel construction is still pretty good. Got some kids hopping on the bus, heading to the Muffin Man shop. And the Muffin Man has all sorts of fancy stuff that the kids could go and eat. Pie Man's a little bit concerned about that. They're enjoying themselves. Time for the happy baker to dart down the deserted alley and become Zip the Pie Man. Now using his super speed. Now he's going to try to get the kids to try out his stuff. And they end up having a bit of a conflict between the Muffin Man and the Pie Man. Pie Man starts throwing different types of pies at him. The Leaning Tower of Pisa pie, the lemon meringue pie with a little Edsel in it. And then the mushroom pie for a mushroom cloud. And remember, folks, it's only cartoon violence. Very cute. The thought is that the Muffin Man's stealing customers. And instead of jail, the Pie Man decided to send the Muffin Man to a tiny shop in the Vernon Mall shopping mall where he was swarmed by a number of girls demanding his love potion number 10 filled wares. Really cute. Then you got a piece here about Mr. Nibs. And then a really neat piece here. Ken Leach did a Pie Man story here called Pie in the Sky, featuring pie pilfering pilgrim bugs from Pluto. So they've come down in their little UFO, steal the pie, and head off with it. Another nice touch. Ken Leach did this. He did the layout. Chuck did the finished art. Another nice looking piece. And then you've got this one as well. And then lastly, Ken Leach back up. The Ken Leach stuff is a bit of a surprise. He's been active for years as far as I know, and his stuff is really nice. Kind of cool that Chuck and Jeff decided to include his work. This is a nice book. The details on the book itself and how you can get a copy of it, I think, again, you're going to get a half-page digest. Send a copy of a zine that you have to Chuck. He will send you his digest for free. Catch is, he needs stamps. So you're going to have to send 4 first-class stamps along with your zine. He then will package up a comic and send it off to you. No money involved beyond the stamps that you buy. Kind of a neat little deal. So yeah, that's it. This is Chuck Bunker. We've kind of gone through, in a very truncated way, his life story as it relates to comics. It's really neat to see him back. It's neat to see him working with a pro like Jeff. And yeah, there you go. Pieman Volume 2, number 4. Really glad to see him back doing stuff. Folks, this is Tom. This is FANzine Live. I finally can tell you, please like, follow, subscribe. We talk about stuff here at FANzine Live that you just don't see elsewhere out on the inner tubes. So thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. Go ahead and tell the world about this and get your own copy of the Pieman. Have a good one, everyone. I will catch you next time.